Hello everybody and welcome into the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series live from the Lady in Black. That's right, it's Darlington Raceway, and boy do we got a good one for you here tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers down trackside getting gridded up, getting ready for the one parade lap, and getting ready to go green in one of the crown jewel events of the season. So here we go. Let's get things rolling with your starting lineup. 3 in a row for Isaac Smallwood coming into tonight, looking to make it 4 if he can get the win here tonight. He rolls off first. Eric Hegdahl to his outside in second. David Traylor, Braden Avila making up row 2. Keith Prince and Joe Yakes in row 3. Bill Hales, Roger Strickland in row 4. John Shileno and Nicholas Lawrence rounding out your top 10. Clinton Woodby, he'll start back in 11th. It's going to be Michael Miller back in 12th. Starting 13th tonight, Haas Beverly with Jesse Calloway to his outside in 14th. Brody Benty, Jesse Wise making up row 8. Jeremy Tolley back in 17th. Colton Hardy to his outside in 18th. Robert Dudley and Dylan Pause rounding out your top 10. Or excuse me, top 20. 21st, Will Rainwell. 22nd, Jay Stinson. 23rd, Jonathan Herbert. 24th, Kevin Winker. 25th, Evan Schilling. 26th, Mark Beverly. Michael Newman, 27th. Dennis Steele, 28th. Andrew Hansley, 29th. Rick LePage rounding out your top 30. Tyler Beverly, he will roll off 31st tonight. And that is your starting grid. Taking a look at what the race info is here on the night. A little bit of a special event. It's the Nirjuana 202 here in the Craftsman Truck Series. 149 laps the distance. A throwback race. You're going to see a lot of good schemes here tonight. We'll talk more about those momentarily. 95% fuel, 4 sets of tires laying in the pits. Stage break at lap 55 and 3 green-white checkers if we were to need them. Here we go. Pace truck makes the left turn down to the pits. Rolling up into the restart zone for the first time tonight. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Darlington. Isaac Smallwood's going to cross the line first. He will lead lap 1, looking to lead as many as he can and again hopefully capture another win. But already look at the single file that we've got going further back. Still a little bit of double file racing. Everybody's trying to sort it out for position. And Darlington, one of those tracks that's very different from a lot of the circuits we head to. We talked about in the couple weeks leading up to this race that you really don't have a notebook that you can pull out in terms of trying to make any sort of adjustments or try to decide what strategy you want to go with here. It runs very different in terms of how these corners work. 1 and 2, radius a little bit bigger than 3 and 4 and a little bit more banking. You get over to 3 and 4, that radius is a lot more narrower. You got to get on the brakes a lot harder. And we're going to see a lot of passing, I think, potentially in that turn tonight with the bigger braking zone. 1 and 2 is almost like a single file, one groove corner. You'll see guys wash all the way up to the wall, whereas over here in 3 and 4, you see them all running the bottom right now, but there is a little bit of leeway there if you want to try to work the top lane, make something work. The point is, the best place to pass a guy is probably entry to a corner. Set him up on exit, get a run down the straightaway, and try to get him clear before you get to that next corner. But looking at the track temp, really cool here is, again, it's a nighttime race. Lights are on, so 82 degrees as it stands right now. And the speeds in these trucks do not do how short this track is justice. I mean, we talked about it a little bit in pre-race, but this track is just between a mile and a half, so by no means one of the biggest tracks that we head to of the circuit list, if you will, but certainly the speeds justify just how fast this place is, about 170 miles an hour at the end of the front straightaway, and the back's going to be even a little bit faster, making it probably about 175 here for Isaac Smallwood. We'll stay on board with him here, or hop on board rather, for just a moment. And you see there, he's sawing on the wheel as he gets down into turn. He's trying to hug the white line and right now just doesn't want to wear those tires out any more than he needs to. The back end will start to swap later in the run, and lap traffic is going to be a key later in this race because we're going to see a lot of it. Darlington, one of those tracks that it's very tough to stay on the lead lap at least the entire distance of the race, but right now everybody doing a really good job keeping it clean out of the gate. These restarts are not easy to do here. I thought we were going to have a little bit more trouble than what it's been so far, but clean and green up to this point. Colton Hardy running a good throwback scheme here tonight. And I'm not sure, again, now listen, I'm a NASCAR fan present. I don't know too much about some of the older guys, so if I get some of these throwbacks wrong, cut me a little slack. But as we go back to the front of the field, I do want to make note of the link that we have currently sitting in the live chat of the video. Again, we talked about Darlington as what we see in real life. Everybody, now maybe I should say a lot of these guys running throwback schemes here on the night, and they have a little bit of a contest. And at the end of the broadcast, before we go off air, we're going to announce the winner of it. So all the paint schemes that we'll be showing throughout the night, we'll try to get through each and every driver. Make sure you decide which one you like. You click on that link and go vote for your favorite scheme on the night. That driver will have a chance to win some money if their scheme is voted the favorite. Right now up front, Terry Labonte, or should I say Isaac Smallwood, that's the throwback he's running. Just behind him, David Traylor in the 54. Here's another one that I think we can all pretty much recognize, the 11 of Eric Hegdahl with the Denny Hamlin throwback and the FedEx 11 truck. Braden Avila just behind them in the 25. Doesn't look like he's got anything too crazy here tonight. Same deal for Joe Yakes. stop on the 3 truck here for just a moment. Keith Prince. Again, I'm not going to know the exact throwback. It's a good wrench, so I got to assume it's something with Dale Jr. He's got the right number. He's got the right sponsor. Not sure which colorway it was, though. About the 53 of Bill Hale's, different scheme that we're used to seeing him in. Just behind him, the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence. In fact, we'll pull the driver cards up for some of these guys. Clinton Woodby. And I was wondering what he was going to have here tonight. One of the guys that's got the sponsor by Sonic Graphic Design, so you knew he was going to be coming out with a pretty good-looking paint scheme, and it's exactly the way it is right now for the 92. Roger Strickland in the 52 doesn't appear to have any sort of throwback there. Oh, the 22 is going to go around. Haas Beverly loops it around off of turn number 4. He got some help. Caution is out for the first time here tonight. And that'll get us to view the scheme on the 22 a little bit quicker, although not for the right reasons. So again, a pretty good save overall. Don't see any damage to his Chevy Silverado. He'll get back rolling, get back up to speed, catch the field, going for 4 tires because he did slide him. Good chance he got a couple flat spots. And so now 11 laps complete. So when your first caution of the night comes out, I mean, you knew it was to a degree just a matter of time, but overall, a pretty clean start right out of the gate. Here we go, though. We'll go to the blimp cam first off. Watch Haas Beverly, and I'll take that. We're actually going to go to the chopper view here. The 22 machine, currently sitting in the middle of your screen. He's running about half a lane up from about everybody else around him, and then, ooh, he is indeed going to get some help from the 2 of Jeremy Tolley, who's just trying to sneak in the, under the inside of that 22 truck. And is there contact? It's close. Yeah, there certainly is. So maybe Tolley with a little bit more of a run than he was expecting. Haas maybe a little bit out of the groove trying to cover. Either way, they meet in the middle. Contact's made, and again, lucky to not hit anything. You're not going to hear us saying that too much tonight. Usually no place to hide when you spin here at Darlington. You're either going into the outside wall and getting the Darlington stripe, or you're spinning down and tagging the inside wall. But Haas Beverly very lucky, and a good piece of driving there to avoid any further damage. Let's take a ride off the gearbox here. See if this gives us a little bit more insight into the contact. And boy, it does not take much. You see they just barely tap. Haas Beverly, he got hit in the left rear, though. That's why it sends that truck around as quick as it does. And these things are already on edge here at Darlington. Exit of the corner. Truck's unloading. Just a bad place to get some help, but I'm sure Haas probably not going to be too happy about it, but knowing that he didn't get any damage, I'm sure he'll be able to get past this one, move on, and get right back in the groove. As I didn't notice the secondary contact right there for Jeremy Tolley on the front right of that truck. You wonder if that did a little bit of damage that he's going to have to go in and get patched up. All right, so as they continue to clean up the wreck, looks like Haas is getting it worked on optional. Oh, well, you saw that left rear pop out. I wonder if he used his fast pair. Certainly would hope he didn't. There didn't seem like a situation where he needed to, and he very well might need that at the end of the race, but that's what it looked like right there. We'll have tabs on that later in the race. Hopefully, indeed, was just them doing a little bit of optional work. Got the hammer out, banged that quarter panel out. But as we get ready to get back to the green flag here, didn't get the one to go signal that time. I think we'll go 2 more times around this time and 1 more. But it is Eric Hegdahl being scored as your leader. Keith Prince back in 2nd. Bill Hale's 3rd. Clinton Woodby in 4th. Roger Strickland 5th. John Shilino back in 6th. Good looking throwback for him as well. And boy, that is an interesting one if I've ever seen one there. He's got all sorts of different colorways. That's where we'll pause a minute too, because John Shilino, one of the guys that we have carrying an onboard cam for us here tonight. There you see John. And he is getting ready for the next restart here on the night. The driver out of Hamburg, New York. Does all the thumbnails for the videos, so anytime that you're joining into the broadcast for the first time, that picture you see is the work of John Shilino. Does a phenomenal job each and every week. And another one of the guys that's got a sponsor with Sonic Graphics Design, so you knew when he came out with a paint scheme it was going to be another really good one, as it indeed is here tonight. So we'll go ahead and continue to move through the field here, at least all the way back to your top 10. It's Michael Miller, who currently sits in 7th. Starting to see a lot of speed come from the 77 camp here over the course of the last couple of weeks. One of the independent drivers, but you can't count him out. Jeremy Tolley, after that contact with Haas Beverly, looks like not too much damage there as he was able to stay out and keep track position for the most part. Jesse Wise with a Cole Trickle throwback in that 69 truck. You see the sun drop scheme. And then just behind him, the 99 of Dylan Paws, currently rounding out your top 10 here on the night. Shout out to everybody tuning in to the broadcast tonight. Again, appreciate everybody being here. You're watching the Nirjuana 202 here on Ghost Racing Network for the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series. And got a couple chats here. Looks like Carol Hansley says, can we vote by saying the car number? Unfortunately, Carol, I don't think so. I know that Mark, series owner, gave me a link. He said, put it in the chat. If they want to vote, they can. We ask that you guys do vote just once. That was the other message, because I think if you technically want, you can keep voting, but that ruins the fun. So, if you want to do it again, it's a quick link. You just go fill out a quick form, but if not, no worries. Glad to see you in here. And hey, you can still certainly say what your favorite scheme in the chat is. We'll show it some love. Megan White, good to see you out here, says, I personally think the 92 has the best scheme, and boy, Clinton would be. You got that right. That's a good-looking scheme. It's got the bright yellow and green. The silver 92. Tower operator says, let's go, Winker Nation. Haven't had a chance to talk too much about Kevin Winker tonight. A little bit surprised. He's back in 29th for the moment. We'll get more on him here shortly. Up front, though, as the green flag flies back in the air. 15 laps now complete. And the battle is on. Ooh, man. Big move up into turn one. Almost some contact right there between the 53 of Bill Hales and the 3 of Keith Prince. Man, Bill sent it in there trying to get everything he could. It works out, and now you see all the trucks trying not to get a Darlington stripe as they work their way off of turn two. Looks like everybody was able to start to organize it out. Again, it'll take a couple laps. This is where you really want to get all your track position. Jay Stinson, he's got another good-looking scheme. I believe that's a throwback to the Dale Earnhardt Wrangler scheme, of course, with the blue and yellow. And further back, we're going to see a move right here. Looks like Mark Beverly, Colton Hardy, all these guys battling to see if they can make up a couple more spots to break into the top 10. That's the 49 of Robert Dudley, currently just in front of that 13 truck, the 16. That's another one of the good-looking schemes we got here tonight. But Isaac Smallwood decided to go in, try a little something different here. We'll see how the fresh tires work out, but he's got a lot of ground to make up and still a lot of laps left, so you don't want to get in your own head here. You want to keep it nice and calm, keep it steady. Again, still a long ways to go here in this 202-mile event. Up front, it is Eric Hegdahl still being scored as your leader. And how about the gap he's already created between him and second? You got a Toyota leading a Ford second and a Chevy third, but Hegdahl is out in front by over a second. This is the battle we're watching now. Keith Prince is caught back up to the rear bumper of Bill Hales. Bill made the really aggressive move out of turn two on the restart. We'll see if Keith Prince is able to return the favor here by grabbing that position back, and just behind them, we got a hornet's nest here. This is for the 5th position. As you see John Shileno ahead, starting to pull away a little bit, but right here, it's a duel between Woodby and Roger Strickland. Just behind them, it was a duel between Michael Miller and Dylan Pause. Woodby slips up a little bit. Looks like the outside might have been favored right there as Dylan Pause is going to grab that spot, picks up another position, and now he's trying to catch up to the 52 machine of Roger Strickland. And man, Woodby has fallen way back here. When you lose your momentum here, it's so hard to get it back, and you're just trying to find a spot in line to jump back up, but sometimes you got to go pretty far to the back of the train before there's a spot for you to get in line. And right now, Clinton Woodby doing everything he can to keep that truck under him. Looks like struggling a little bit, as you saw just in front right there. Jeremy Tolley looks like he may have got a Darlington stripe as he kissed the wall, going down the back straightaway. Braden Avila, Isaac Smallwood jumping to his inside now, up to 16th. Down 15 overall, but remember, took a little bit of a strategy call here under this last caution. And we're waiting to see just how well it's going to work out for that 5 truck as he gets caught here behind Avila as they go into turn 1, so he'll have to settle down for now. David Traylor followed him in on the strategy, so gotta wonder if these two can maybe work together a little bit, and not work together in the sense of what you'd expect at a super speedway, but maybe a little case of follow the leader right here if you're David Traylor. And if you're Isaac Smallwood, trying to part the seas for both of those guys to go through. And that is a Chevy and a Toyota. David Traylor, and we talked about earlier, John Shileno, 2 of our driver cams in the last, but certainly not least, man that we've got carrying driver cam here on the night is Michael Newman in the 12 truck. He's up 5 positions from where he started as he closes in on the 8 here of Nicholas Lawrence. So a lot of speed last week at Auto Club, looking to see if we get more of the same this week. And remember, before Auto Club, it was Dover, followed by Watkins Glen just before that. So again, not really any notes, nothing to build off of here at Darlington. This is a completely new track in terms of what we've seen over the course of the last few weeks. So everybody's still to a degree trying to get in a rhythm, but Eric Hegdahl seems like he has found that rhythm. He's gone winless since he got the season opener done with a win at Daytona. And man, he'd like to see if he could get another one here on maybe a little bit more of a technical track such as Darlington. Keith Prince was able to get around Bill Hales a couple laps ago, and since then has pulled away a little bit from the 53, and now it's trying to slowly but surely close in on the 11 truck. Keith Prince, boy, he is due for a win. It's just a matter of time. I mean, we've seen him at the front every race. We call him Mr. Consistent. Plenty of top 3s, top 5s, all keeping him right up there in the mix for the championship in terms of points, at least to make it to the playoffs. And the only thing he's missing right now, again, is that first win here on the season. But I don't think it's going to be too much longer before we start talking about him having a chance at that tonight. Looking like it could be one of those opportunities, as again, currently only about a second now behind your leader, Eric Hegdahl, who had stretched it out to a little bit more than that within the first couple laps of this restart. Here's a move to the inside to 77. Michael Miller, the 2, is going to try to follow. Jeremy Tolley making it 3 for 1 here. I was going to say kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but they're going to try to get 3 here as Dylan Paz gets around Dudley. Hold on to it. Oh my goodness. Another close call right there. The 49 of Robert Dudley with a big moment off of 2. Truck started to go around. He was able to catch it just before he tagged the inside wall. Got back on track, and damage doesn't look to be too bad on the right side. Just seems to be scuffed up a little bit. Man, these guys are already really struggling with the handling, and we are nowhere near even halfway through this race just yet, so definitely going to see if this changes the pit strategy. And it's 95% fuel here on the night. We're not sure the exact number of laps that gets these guys, but maybe you pit a little bit sooner, at least after this run, if the tires are not feeling too good. Here's Smallwood utilizing that top line. First guy that we've really seen ripping the wall here tonight over in 3 and 4, but he's got those fresher tires, and he's trying to make everything count. No move to be made here as he catches Mark Beverly at a little bit of an awkward spot. Entry to turn 1. He'll arc it up, wait for that 13 to get a little bit of a shallower exit. He gets a better exit. Oh, but he tags the outside wall, trying to get a run to the outside of Beverly. That's a mistake, and now it's going to cost him potentially a position here as David Traylor is taking a peek to the outside, trying to get to the outside of the 13 as well. And he's not able to quite do it there, but he's going to get a push from Avila. This should be what he needs to get him clear here. Going into turn 1, and yeah, sure enough, that'll do it. So David Traylor picks up another position. He's up to 13th. Still down 10 overall from where he started, though, and looking to pick up a few more spots as this race goes on. Well, let's go to the back here and get a couple updates on what in the world is going on with some of the guys that we're used to seeing a lot further to the front, towards the front, to say the least. Andrew Hansley, first up. You see the driver out of Gilbertsville, Pennsylvania, back in 31st, and not on the lead lap either. Currently last car on the track. And as it stands at the moment, I believe I'm not sure if he's 1 or 2 laps down, maybe more than that. And then Kevin Winker. I never thought in a million years I'd be saying this with the season that he's been putting together so far. All the speed he's got at super speedways. Oh, we're going to hold that thought. We have trouble further ahead here. Clinton Woodby trying to find him here as caution is now out. There's the 92. You see the damage to the right front as he gets back rolling. And yeah, it looks like the left front as well is beat up, but it's the right front fender that's actually ripped off. The Sonic Graphics Design 92 machine. And so this will be his first fast pair gone a lot earlier than he would have liked to see it go. Let's go back here and see what happens again. These guys were all within the top 10, having a great run. So not sure where everything goes wrong here. I think it's going to start ahead with Isaac Smallwood, who was really pushing the issue here for the last couple laps, trying everything in his power to pick up some extra positions here. All right, and here we go. We're going to go to the chopper view. Back this up a little bit further. Oh, that's a checkup. I'll tell you, that's exactly what that is. I want to back this up even further here. See if we can't find exactly what starts this checkup. So watch from the blip cam. You see they're side by side, Robert Dudley and Colton Hardy in the 16. And then the 13, Mark Beverly, he realizes the run's just too big. He doesn't want to run into the 49. He starts to check up. Trailer has to check up. And then the 5 of Isaac Smallwood, not quite able to check up enough. Gets into the back of David Trailer, sends him around, then he's up in the wall. Jay Stinson nowhere to go. Clinton Woodby piles in. Looks like the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence as well. And so, yeah, this one definitely collected a pretty good toll of drivers. But it looked, at the end of the day, like Clinton Woodby definitely still got the worst of this here. Let's rewind this and take another angle. Yeah, and Woodby tried to commit to the middle right there once they started wrecking. Unfortunately, that hole just closed up just about as he got there. Nothing you can do as a driver at that point. if you know you're not going to check up in time, you try to shoot the gap, and it's exactly what Woodby tries to do there. It's just an unfortunate break, but here's what it looks like from the gyro cam. You see Jay Stinson, yeah, he took a pretty hard shot as well. So this might collect the fast pair of a couple trucks, including Stinson and Woodby, who we saw, of course, still in the live shot just a minute ago. Take one more look at this here from TV1. And that's just hard racing. I mean, nobody really doing anything wrong there. And, you know, it's a smart call, of course, by Mark Beverly there to check up. Doesn't want to run into the back of him. I don't blame him. That's what can lead to a big wreck, but unfortunately, checkups as a result can lead to equally just as great of a wreck, which is exactly what happens here, as there's the contact for Woodby and Stinson, along with the 54 of David Traylor and the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence there at the end, who had nowhere to go. So as we go back live, Clinton Woodby rolling off of the pits. Looks like he's got that truck cleaned up and ready to go back green. Eric Hegdahl up front, Keith Prince second, Michael Miller in third, Jeremy Tolley fourth, Bill Hales in fifth, John Shileno sixth, Roger Strickland seventh, Jesse Wise in eighth, Dylan Paws in ninth, and Colton Hardy rounding out your top 10. Well, we didn't get the one-to-go signal yet, so with that knowledge, we're going to take our first break of the night. We will go side by side, though, so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us here at Darlington. Welcome back to the Nirjuana 202, presented by Asphalt Outlaws Racing. Of course, the series in itself. What a great series it's been up to this point in the season as well. There's a look at John Shileno. He gets ready to get back going here, as do we up front. Shileno in that 6th spot, looking for a season-best finish here tonight if he can keep it up. Already has got a podium. Going to see if he can get another one. Here we go. Green flag back in the air. 32 laps complete. They get 33 as we cross the line. A little bit of a stack up there further back, but it looks like everybody, again, is going to be able to get through the gears relatively clean. A lot of 2x2 this time into 1 and 2. And again, as this race goes on, what you're going to notice is that everybody's going to start to push those boundaries more and more as we had more contact there into the outside wall. Further back to 29 of Andrew Hansley. Goes around and hits the inside safer barrier. Doesn't look like it was a big hit, but looked like there may have been some internet lag involved in that incident for the 29 as he was blinking, and then next thing you know, he reappears and he's sliding towards the inside wall. Tough break, but up front, how about already Eric Hegdahl trying to stretch that gap out again, using these good years while he's got him to see if he can scoot away here from Keith Prince, who I think is his biggest challenger, at least at the moment. Now, further back, the same cannot be said. We still got some racing going on. Everybody trying to sort it out, and in fact, the biggest thing they're trying to sort out right now is the battle for 9th between Colton Hardy and Mark Beverly. Beverly on the inside, but it looks like Colton may be able to roll a little bit better there through the center of the corner. And he's able to do just that, and he will get cleared. I'll tell you what, I wonder if on this 16 truck, again, I could be wrong here, but I believe that might be a Carl Edwards throwback. When Carl Edwards, I believe it was Scott's who used to sponsor him and give him that green, black, and yellow scheme. But not for sure. If anybody knows and you like it, go ahead and vote on it. Mark Beverly just behind him, good-looking scheme. And there's the 69 Cole Trickle throwback, of course, for Jesse Wise. And oh, we got one in the wall further back. That's Robert Dudley. Not the way he wants to try to exit the corner there, as the 12 of Michael Newman's going to skate by both of these guys. The 28 of Dennis Steele, that was as well. He's got the dead-on tool scheme. No throwback for him. And the 18 just behind him there of Evan Schilling. I know this one's got to be something special, but I got to be honest, I'm not sure exactly what it is. Oh, we had another truck off further back. And that's the 45 of Tyler Beverly. Another truck running a throwback tonight, but he's trying to get back on track. I thought he was getting ready to bail to the pits. You can see he's definitely had contact on both sides of that truck. You got to assume maybe from the outside wall and the inside wall. But he was able to get back going and back up to speed. Doesn't look like he lost too many positions. And then as we go all the way back to the front, it is Eric Hegdahl still being scored as your leader. The gap between him and Keith Prince up to almost a second now, as Michael Miller currently rounding out that last podium position. Jeremy Tolley in 4th, and Bill Hales rounding out your top 5. Roger Strickland back in 6th, John Shilino in 7th, Braden Avila 8th, Mark Beverly in 9th, and Dylan Pause rounding out your top 10. Colton Hardy 11th, Jesse Wise 12th, Jay Stinson in 13th. And this is where we're going to stop the count for now, because this is where we got the most battling going on. 2x2 here. Was a couple rows deep just a minute ago. Now it's back to almost single file action as Jay Stinson looks to get clear of the 69. He does just that. He will jump back up in line, and now he sets his sights on the 16 of Colton Hardy. And I believe, by the way, we'll check the schedule later on this to confirm, but I believe this is the only time this season that the truck guys here head to Darlington. So everybody really wants to get that win. I believe it is a No Bull 5 race, so there's a little bit of money on the line, plus money for whoever's got the best paint scheme. So definitely a lot of things to keep an eye on here tonight, as we're just now going to be crossing a complete lap 40. Again, still not even officially a third of the way through this race just yet. And looking for when we're going to see that next pit stop. Let's see what, I wouldn't be surprised if, honestly, we don't expect the next pit stop till maybe close to lap 100. Maybe give or take 10 laps. I'm thinking more or less maybe take somewhere around 1 to 10 laps from there, but everybody's just fighting for track position. Doesn't look like anybody's trying any sort of abstract strategy. Nobody's really saving fuel. A couple guys, though, right now maybe saving tire. Jeremy Tolley, got to wonder, is he one of those here as he sits behind Braden Avila and Michael Miller. Speaking of Avila, he'll make the move on Miller. Picks himself up another spot, now up to 4th, or back to 4th rather for Miller, and up to 3rd for Braden Avila. A lot of single file action out further back. Here we go, 2x2. Michael Newman's going to jump to the inside there. That's the 69 of Jesse Wise. The 87 of Joe Yakes starting to make his way up there as well. Your winner at Atlanta, after Isaac Smallwood came so close to making it 4 in a row. And speaking of Isaac Smallwood, you might be wondering yourself, where in the world is that 5 truck at with all the speed he had early on in this race? Well, the answer is still, unfortunately, stuck in traffic. He's back in that 18th spot, and oh man, another close call right there. Dylan Pause almost got into his left rear as he was trying to tuck back up in line. That allows Nicholas Lawrence, Haas Beverly, and Clinton Woodby to all try to make a jump to the inside. Lawrence is going to get clear by plenty. Haas Beverly trying to do the same, but it doesn't look like he's going to have any luck. So these guys are going to stall each other out just a little bit off at 2, as Beverly did actually end up getting clear. Woodby stays in line behind, and about the separation we're starting to see now from the field, about half a track. The total distance, at least from your leader, all the way back to last place. I heard a couple of Darlington stripes there as they worked their way out of 4. And what about the battle for the lead? I mean, where did Braden Avila come from? Man, what a run right here. The 25 jumps to the inside. He will take that position, and by plenty stretches it out to 0.3 of a second by the time they make it to the middle of 3 and 4 there from the back straightaway. So now Eric Hegdahl has to decide, what does he want to do? Does he settle in here, try to tick off laps, keep whatever he can in terms of track position, and set himself up for that next pit stop? Or does he go for it here, maybe use those tires up a little bit more and see if he can't try to slowly reel back in Braden Avila? But I wonder if this is, again, a little bit of a mixing of strategies here. And yeah, I think that's exactly what it might be. It's hard to say. The point is that whatever Avila is doing, whether it's took an extra set of tires under one of the cautions or has just been saving tires better than everybody else, it is working out really, really well right now for the 25 truck. So as he works his way up to 1 and 2, in fact, let's go back and take another onboard view here of the roll bar. So there you see in 1 and 2, I know we've mentioned it a couple times here tonight, but I want to show everybody again just how interesting of a track Darlington looks. And we're going to go to the gyro cam to show you actually exactly what the driver sees as it tilts with their head. A lot of banking in the corners, but turn 3 and 4 is a lot more narrow than it is over in turn 1 and 2. So you got to take both corners pretty much completely different, and that makes it so hard to get into a rhythm here at the Lady in Black as, Andrew Hansley slips up just a little bit right there in front of Braden Avila. You got to wonder if that made his heart skip a beat there for just a moment. And so as we go back, zoom out of the cockpit view, it is now 46 of 149 laps complete here at Darlington. Up front is still Braden Avila. Further back, all the battling has just about winded down for now. And if we do make it to that first green flag pit stop, boy, we are in for a treat in terms of watching these guys try to make pit road entry. It's one of, by far, the trickiest pit road entries in all of the NASCAR schedule, especially the Asphalt Outlaws Racing schedule. There you go, Haas Beverly showing you exactly why right there. He was about half and half, and even though he wasn't trying to pit and was trying to stay on the surface, still lost a lot of time with that little bit of a slip-up that he had right there off of turn number 4. So we go back to the front. Braden Avila has stretched that gap out now to almost 3.5 seconds. Now, important to note, we do have that stage break coming up on lap 55. Don't want to confuse anybody when I say that long green flag run, because we're actually going to be expecting that run after the stage. So I think it's going to be, again, pretty close to lap 100, maybe a little bit later. But with that stage break coming on lap 55, what it's going to do is give all these guys a chance to go down, top off on fuel and tires, take whatever stage points they got, and then get back out here and set yourself up for what's going to be that 100 lap finale. Just about 100, maybe a couple more. That's still, again, a long ways away here at Darlington, but as they cross the stripe next time, it'll be 50 laps complete. Jeremy Tolley, Bill Hales, bumper to bumper for the moment, but no real race in between those two. Further back, it's Mark Beverly and Colton Hardy. You saw them thinking about getting a little racy, and then here we go. Here's a move by Clinton Woodby, the 92. He'll take a look to the inside here of Robert Dudley, and you know what I've seen that I felt really encouraged about here tonight is a lot of the give and take that we're seeing here, especially early. Give a guy a position through 1 and 2 or 3 and 4 if he's faster than you early, and then later if you need to take it, maybe don't feel quite as guilty about it because you know you helped him earlier in the race. Now, trying to go back and finish on that report that we were trying to do earlier with some of the guys that we don't see anywhere near the front right now that we're used to seeing at the front. The first of those is Brody Benty. You see he's got the Mountain Dew scheme. I wonder if this is a throwback to one of the Dale Jr. Mountain Dew alternate paint schemes. Ooh, a heavy hit to the inside wall there. Who was that? Jeremy Tolley with a massive impact here to the inside wall. Rips that truck apart. The whole front hood is gone. So he immediately is going to tow it back to the pits. Let's go see if we can take a look here at exactly what happens. Go to the chopper view first. That's Tolley running in just this little 3-car group. Oh, he gets loose off of 2. No, he doesn't. It's actually Miller in front of him there. Michael Miller, who gets tight off of 2. And he's just going to wash up here as he gets over the bumps. Tags the outside wall. He's already scrubbing off speed to try to minimize the damage. And unfortunately there for the 2, just really nowhere to go. And so once he gets tagged there by the 53 of Bill Hales, this is going to be a big, big hit into the inside wall. So again, nothing that Jeremy Tolley could really do right there except let go of the wheel and ride it out. But it's just, man, I mean, that is really, really major damage. That is going to be a fast repair without a shadow of a doubt. Take one more view of this here from a little bit of a different angle, as that one's showing you more of the same. And here we go. It's right on exit. If it happens anywhere else, they're probably okay. They probably save it. But as we noted earlier, too, when you get turned here, there's nowhere to run. Even if he locked the brakes up, he's still going to hit that wall at probably 120 miles an hour or greater. And that certainly did pretty big damage to his machine. So as we go back live towards the front of the field, it is Braden Avila being scored now as your leader. You saw everybody coming in to top off on fuel and tires. And this is going to be interesting here if we get a one-lap shootout or not. Eric Hegdahl back in second, Keith Prince in third, Tyler Beverly fourth, and Roger Strickland rounding out your top 5. So it looks like we're going to get a couple more takers here. Lights on the pace car are still on. And if they stay on here, we don't get the one to go this time, then we're going to take another break here. We'll have to see here as it's working its way off turn 4. Yeah, it did make the left turn as the lights were still on. We'll see if the lights go off right here. And looks like, well, can't tell just yet, actually. We'll know here when Braden Avila pulls up a little bit closer towards the front of the field. How about Kevin Winker along with the 17? They're trying a couple strategies here to see if they can get back towards, or back on the lead lap, rather, than have a chance to get back towards the front. All right. Well, up front for the restart, it's going to be Braden Avila and Eric Hegdahl. We will take a quick break. We will be right back again. Stick with us here at Darlington. Back live at Darlington, getting ready for another restart and to wrap up the stage here, I do believe. Taking a look, yep, well, crossing the line right there was for the stage technically, so I think they may have already predetermined the winner there, maybe with lap 54, and I believe it should be Braden Avila in the 25 Chevy Silverado. Just behind him though now for this restart, Eric Hegdahl, like a great white shark here, just lurking in the shadows for now, waiting to see if Avila is going to slip up or if a move opens up for Eric to try to jump to the inside of the outside. And everybody else, though, just following suit in line. A lot of single file action for the moment. Clinton Woodby, he's going to find a spot. Joe Yates trying to find a spot. Isaac Smallwood, though, was having none of it. He made sure that the 87 could not get there. Boy, I thought for a second we were about to see yet another wreck, but they all do a good job there as they all keep it together. They all keep it clean. But that has allowed the 69 and the 4. Jesse Wise and Jesse Calloway, the Jesse and Jesse show, if you will, starting to make their way to the front. Robert Dudley just behind them. And all this racing we're seeing, again, there's a lot on the line, including the points battle right now. Let's talk a little bit about that here for just a moment. What it's looking like for your top 10 in points and what to maybe expect here as we move into the next couple weeks. All right, so currently leading in the points category, at least for the moment, is Isaac Smallwood, and that should come as no surprise with the amount of wins that he's racked up. Ooh, did I see some trouble out back right there? No, it was a great save by Clinton Woodby. It was almost trouble out back, but Woodby was able to wheel out of it, as we've seen so many guys do here tonight, so he stays okay. But some of the other guys with a good chance here in points, at least as they stand right now. David Traylor back in second. Joe Yates third. Braden Avila fourth. He could move up some more if he gets the win here tonight. Kevin Winker back in fifth. Keith Prime in sixth. So on and so forth. I think you get the idea that some of the best are the ones that you see at the front, not only in this race, but of course in points. And at a track like Darlington, I still think the track position is just so important that you cannot give it up. And so far, since Avila's taken the lead, he's been doing a phenomenal job of doing just that. Nobody been able to get around him, and the only one who's had anything even close has been Eric Hegdahl, who's been trying to set up a move, but has not found one that's able to work just yet. I think part of that is when he gets caught in that dirty air coming off the corner, but now he's going to get a run because Braden Avila slipped up just a little bit right there coming off of turn number 2. We'll see here, how much room does Eric Hegdahl give the 25 here? Does he try to get clear? He's trying. He puts the loud pedal down. He's not quite able to do it. Now he does as they work their way down the front straightaway, and just like that, Eric Hegdahl is going to reclaim the lead. So it's 60 laps now complete. How about a little crank it up how about a little crank it up here? Do this little radio style from Darlington. Here we go. And that'll do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. Not as many camera angles here at Darlington as we get at a lot of the other tracks, but nonetheless, up front, Eric Hegdahl still the leader after getting back around Braden Avila. And Avila now looks like maybe the handling on that truck starting to struggle as Keith Prince will be looking to the inside here momentarily to see if he can get around that 25 truck. The 77 of Michael Miller back in this mix as well. And honestly, those top four have pulled away kind of on an island by themselves. You see the separation there from first to fourth, 0.7 seconds. Now the gap from sixth to first, which is Isaac Smallwood, is well over almost 4.5 seconds. So they still got a lot of ground they got to make up, and now that we've got the stage break out of the way complete, it all becomes about strategy play, assuming that this thing stays green, but by no means is that guaranteed, and we have certainly seen that time and time again. Michael Newman starting to crawl his way back to the field yet again. The 12 seems like he never quits fighting, does he here? And that is one of the Chevys in the field. He's up 17, though, positions from where he started. That's the amazing thing here that he's got done so far on the night. The driver out of La Crosse, Wisconsin. Now trying to see if he can track down Joe Yakes, and boy, he is riding that wall for all it's worth. And in fact, you saw him actually break the cushion right there. Got into the outside wall. That'll be a Darlington stripe that he'll take with him for the rest of the race. Ray Navila now starting to really fade off the back bumper of Eric Hegdahl, who has it up again to almost a second, at least as it stands now for the moment. Isaac Smallwood has his gap down to 4 seconds between him and the leader, but what he wants to do right now is try to get to the next guy and just keep slowly passing him, maybe hope for another caution. I think that kind of depends on what strategy you're running here if you're the 5 truck, but the point is Smallwood has been absolutely on fire since the beginning of the season, and I wouldn't expect to see anything less here tonight, especially with the momentum that he's got coming off those 3 back-to-back-to-back wins. Of course, last week at Auto Club, and then before that, Dover, the week before that, Watkins Glen. So there's certainly no saying, well, he can only do it on these certain tracks. That's not the case, and we have found that out here in a big way. But here we go as we go further back towards the field, or further back in the field. Jay Stinson in 7th. He's up 15 positions from where he started. Joe Yakes at 8th. Mark Beverly 9th. John Shilino rounding out your top 10. Jesse Wise in 11th. Michael Newman in 12th. Jesse Calloway 13th. David Traylor 14th. And Colton Hardy currently rounding out your top 15. And so let's see if we can hop on board here with Hegdahl real quick and see if I can kind of present to you what the pit road's going to look like here along with the lap, and see the speeds that he's still running here, as these tires have definitely started to wear down a bit now. About 172 now with the tire wear as he enters turn number 3. Let's way off the throttle, lets this thing roll through for the most part. Is putting quite a bit of right front into it though now. That always gets you a little concerned when you hear a driver using that much right front that they're burning it off quicker than they want to, but so far seems to be working. I mean, he's got the gap up to almost 2.3 seconds now over second place Keith Prince. So while Prince continues to be Mr. Consistent, Eric Hegdahl, he wants to see if he can tack on a second win on the season here tonight. 70 laps now complete. We're about 4 or 5 from being halfway to the Nirjuana 202. A lot of single file action, not too much going on right now, and up front it is Eric Hegdahl. We are going to take another side-by-side break, but stick with us. We will be right back at Darlington. Back live at Darlington Raceway, now officially over halfway through the Nirjuana 202. For anybody just tuning in or that's been tuning in, certainly appreciate you being here. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Well, I'll tell you what, been a ton of clean racing, and honestly, contrary to what a lot of people and a lot of drivers probably expected coming into a track like Darlington, where passes are so tricky to make, is, man, the 43 tags the outside wall again right there. Eric Hegdahl going around. That's not for position. That's to get another lap in. A guy that we saw get lapped during commercial, that was Tyler Beverly, by the way, excuse me, the 45. But Kevin Winker, man, this has just not been the night for the 42. I think he is just trying to get out of here as quick as he can, but he has hit the wall quite a few times with that truck. I mean, you see the damage. Now, we did have we'll go back here. I was going to say, we did have a reported incident, but it never had developed into anything, so we don't have any replay to actually show. But Hegdahl still doing a fantastic job up front. I mean, he's got a 3-second lead, but now, guess who we're starting to bring back into the picture here? Isaac Smallwood was able to take that second spot. Keith Prince, Michael Miller back there as well, and wondering what happened to Braden Avila. He is all the way back to 10th now, so the 25. I wonder if he just maybe burned his tires up a little bit too much at the start, and so he's probably hoping we can get a caution. He can get a second chance at it, but this is really going to start to show the strength of the guys who saved their tires, and you're going to really start to see some of these guys, such as David Traylor, Isaac Smallwood, start to really prevail and make their way towards the front. As David Traylor currently now only back 7 spots from where he started, but he's inside the top 10, so you got to think he's feeling pretty good with where he stands at the moment. By the way, if you're watching at home, please do let me know how everything sounds. Also, don't forget the paint scheme voting contest. You can put your vote in here with the link that we dropped in the video chat, or the live chat, if you will. So go check that out. We'll try to go ahead and repin it, actually, if we can, but I don't think I can. Actually, I can. Sure enough, there you go. So use that link right there, and you can go vote on your favorite paint scheme that you've seen out here tonight. We had a lot of throwbacks show up, more than a lot of people were maybe expecting, and boy, what a great crowd coming out to support these guys here tonight. But Eric Hegdahl has been putting on a clinic for a lot of the race. Braden Avila took over for a little while, but once they switched back, it has been nothing but pure dominance here from Hegdahl, again with that over 3-second gap. And I think as it stands right now, he's probably hoping that this thing continues to go green, and we see this trend here for the rest of just under probably 70 laps or so that we've got remaining in this race. And there you see the 3, Keith Prince going around the lapper there of Tyler Beverly. Further back, oh, we got one hard into the wall. Was that Clinton Woodby? In the 92, yeah, indeed it was. That was a pretty hard shot to the right side of his truck. That was coming off of turn 2, where again, that wall, it's really hard to kind of demonstrate here from the broadcast booth, but man, I'm telling you, these drivers, they're feeling just how close that wall is as soon as you come off the turn. In fact, the best way to do this here, we'll go on the right front for Clinton Woodby. So you have to arc it up all the way to the wall. We've seen guys doing that with not too much of an issue. The problem is here on exit, it gets really tight, and look how quickly that wall comes up, as it's almost like a straight shot instead of a little bit of a following the banking off the corner. The Rain 4 is a little bit more forgiving as the speeds are a little bit slower, but right now for Clinton Woodby, currently sitting in that 15th spot, down 4 from where he started. I think the speed's there, but he's going to need some help here with either a caution, maybe something else, as Andrew Hansley's slow on the apron. He's trying to get back up to speed. Here's a battle between Dylan Paws and Haas Beverly. Haas leading the battle. This is the battle for 16th, by the way. Dylan Paws up 3 from where he started. We've seen him running higher, though, on the night, so I'm sure he's looking to pick up a couple more positions here if he can get around the 22. Evan Schilling back in 18th. He's up 7 positions from where he started this race at. Just behind him, there's Michael Newman. Another one of the drivers that we've got carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight is Rick LePage with some trouble here. We'll have to see if this brings out the caution. 24, looks like he immediately towed it. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about Rick tonight. You see the damage on the right side. Not sure if that was tow worthy here, so let's go see what made him decide. Did he just stop and call it quits here, or did he have actual trouble? Gets it, oh yeah, just sails it into turn 1. Hard contact to the outside wall. Bounces off, sends him down. He goes for a spin and a slide. Comes to a halt on the apron somewhere between 1 and 2. Looks like he backs it up and initially gets back going. I mean, he's well under the apron. Darlington definitely has plenty of room under the apron, but somehow ended up back in the pit, so maybe just getting that damage fixed. Hopefully we see him back out on track here shortly. Now, interestingly enough, and you notice here, Trying to think if we can get a better view from this here on the gearbox. You see all that room that we call the apron now here at Darlington. Fun fact, way back when, before what is now Darlington is Darlington, when this track was first built, the racing groove actually used to be everything below the apron, and all this banking up top was runoff room so that if these guys wrecked, they wouldn't go straight into the outside wall. But since then, they've developed it and said, hey, why are we racing down there when we can be racing up here? Made that change pretty quick, and it has provided some great racing and has now been named famously the Lady in Black, host of the Southern 500 in real life, and the night race here for the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series. David Trailer all by himself on an island right now in ninth, trying to see if he can pick up a couple more spots. Avila, by the way, has fallen all the way back now to 13th. John Shileno in a little bit of a heated battle right here with the 4 truck of Jesse Calloway. John working that wheel as steady as he possibly can. You don't want to make any sudden movements. These things, again, are very on edge here. And some tracks, you know, again, you're wearing out a lot of tire here, and it might switch up a little bit as you get into the longer portion of the run. But this is one of those tracks where you really can't put full wheel into the truck at any point unless you've gotten really tight, say, maybe in the middle of the corner. But if you do it on entry, you get the back end to start hanging out, and all of a sudden, that truck wants to come around. But everybody's been doing, again, a pretty good job. All things considered, not too many cautions up to this point on the night. Now, we still got a lot of racing left. A lot of things could happen. And we're still waiting on what could potentially be that final green flag stop of the night. You figure we went back green with right about 54 laps complete. So they're going pretty deep now into this fuel run now, 45 laps or so in. And I think they could still make it probably to lap 100. And if they can make it to lap 100, then yeah, this would definitely be a one stop here the rest of the way. But Eric Hegdahl, I mean, I know we keep talking about him, but when there's not much else going on, you look to the man who's kind of responsible for that with the clinic he's putting on. It is just so impressive, the job that he has done here tonight. Kevin Winker letting another one of the leaders go by there, and Keith Prince. It's just really not been the night for Kevin Winker. Nicholas Lawrence and Jeremy Tolley currently last on track. Lawrence, the last on track rather, and Jeremy Tolley has retired from the race. Rick LePage still currently sitting in the pits. Brody Benty in 28th. Again, multiple laps down, but still has a chance to maybe get a win here in something tonight with the beautiful looking 63 scheme. Mountain Dew, I believe, again, that's a throwback to Dale Jr., and that is indeed a really good looking scheme for the 63. Andrew Hansley back in 27th. Just in front of him, there's Kevin Winker in 26th, and actually starting to keep a little bit more of a close eye on how many guys fall a lap down, because if you look at the track map, it is now just about a constant cycle of lap traffic for your leader, who you see entering turn 3. He's going to be catching the 27th, and it looks like all the way up to maybe the 26th position truck here in just the span of the next couple laps. And so Kevin Winker, who's in 26th, is due to go potentially another lap down, but we're trying to see, as it stands right now, just how many laps that 42 is currently down with all the damage he's sustained. And looks like for the moment he's being scored 3 laps down, and 21 trucks is the amount that we still have on the lead lap at this point. Now Isaac Smallwood slowly starting to creep back into the picture. The gap for a while there was still just a couple tenths above 3 seconds, but Smallwood has continued to just slowly chip at it here, and he now has it under 3 seconds at about 2.8. But the reason I mention that is you got to wonder if some of that gap that he was able to trim off is due to lap traffic. And that's going to become a major factor here. As you see, it's almost like a constant flow, similar to what we would expect to see at a track like Bristol, Martinsville. But it's just what happens here over the course of a long run, and this is becoming a very, very, very long run here tonight. But when we hit that lap 100 mark, that's where I feel like things start to shift gears. You start to kind of size up when you're going to make that last green flag pit stop, the only green flag pit stop, but happens to be the last one of the night. And after you make that last stop, you start sizing up how many laps we've got left in this race and what you got to do to try to make it all the way to the end clean and clear. See if you can capture yourself a win. Keith Prince, the first man right now that would be in position to be a first-time winner if he took the lead, as he sits in third right now. Smallwood with multiple wins already on the season. Hegdahl looking for his second. Here's a look at Jay Stinson back, rounding out the top 5. Good run for him right now. John Shileno continues to fade, but as we still continue to gear up for what's going to be, again, that final green flag pit stop, the money stop. Let's see what it's looking like here in terms of the schedule for the rest of the season while we have a chance. And again, we've already had a stretch of really good racing up to this point. Next up on the schedule, though, is got to be a fan favorite and certainly probably a driver favorite for a lot of these guys. That's right, it's Talladega Super Speedway. The fastest track in all of NASCAR will take on one of the best series in all of iRacing. After that, we head to the short track, the Paperclip, Martinsville Speedway, for 175 laps of action there. That one is going to be a battle of attrition, I can promise you that. Then we head to Legacy, Kentucky, followed by the second road course of the season in Mid-Ohio. Phoenix Raceway on April 5th, followed by Indianapolis, the Brickyard. Texas Motor Speedway, April 19th, Iowa Speedway, and then kicking May off in the final race of the regular season. It's going to be Daytona International Speedway. That'll be a 90-lap race, and really looking forward to that one. How about some of the tracks that we've got in the playoffs? The round of 16, Las Vegas, followed by Richmond and Michigan. And then the round of 10, I think I like even a little bit more, Charlotte, Bristol, and Talladega. I mean, that's just about one of the best mile and a halves, one of the best short tracks, and one of the best super speedways. And that makes that probably about the best trio you can get. And then your Championship 5, again, a little bit of a different format there. A lot of times you hear the Championship 4, not for this series, not with the trucks. So, as we took another look there at John Shileno, and he's going to pop up every time that we come back live here because he was actually the first guy to join driver cams tonight, and sometimes the system glitches. So if you're wondering why you keep seeing John Shileno every time we switch back from a different graphic, that would be why. Michael Miller just in front of him right now as we speak about him. And a 77, again, another good run here tonight. He's been putting these string of good runs together, and he's been slowly now starting to rack up the good finishes to match those runs. It's just a matter of time now before he starts breaking consistently into the top 5 in terms of finishes. Get some more, couple more podiums. Mark Beverly just in front of him, series owner, and one of the drivers running, I believe, a throwback tonight. Not sure what it's a throwback to. Gotta wonder if it's a throwback to the Asphalt Outlaws Racing Truck Series in of itself. But the driver out of Salem, Ohio, I mean, what a league these guys have built. Been here for not quite half a season just yet, but I mean, everything I've seen, it's indicative of a league that you can tell puts in a lot of work, a lot of time, recruits some of the best drivers. And boy, the product sure shows that when we see great races like tonight, where we have a race at Darlington, 149 laps and a chance of potentially less than 5 cautions. By the time this thing is all said and done, would be very, very impressive to say the least. But here we go. Turn your attention towards the pits. Pit stops are underway. Looks like Bill Hales is going to bring him in. It's the first truck to come down to the pits here. We've had a little bit of a connection issue it appears here. So as we wait for everybody to reappear, not sure what's going on right here. Apologize for this. Well, we're going to get this all sorted out here. Again, not sure everybody went. Not sure what happened here. Well, I'll tell you what. Seems to be some technical difficulties here, so we are going to take a quick break. We will be right back and hopefully have these issues sorted out, so stick with us. We'll be right back at Darlington. Welcome back to Darlington Raceway. Again, apologies there for the brief delay. Seems like we had a little bit of an internet spike or something along those lines which caused that issue, but we've got it sorted out, and we got it sorted out just in time because pit stops are underway, and a lot of your leaders are currently cycling through the pits right now. It's Isaac Smallwood, who had got himself all the way up to second place before the pit stops. Eric Hegdahl now going to make his stop as well. And important to note that for all the drivers, this will be the final stop of the night, so you're taking 4 tires, filling it up with fuel, and getting ready to run this thing for what's going to be just over 40 laps for Eric Hegdahl when he makes his way back out of the pits. And he's been putting on a phenomenal show up to this point. We'll see if he can keep the trend going. Keith Prince making his way into the pits. And, you know, I know we had mentioned during green earlier that pit stops, how tricky they were going to be. And, again, they're proving me wrong on that, too. It's a tricky pit road, don't get me wrong, but a lot of these guys have had no issues with it. Maybe a couple troubles here and there, but overall, again, a really nice job by everybody to get into the pits clean, get out clean, and it's tricky. It's a little bumpy. That apron is so narrow that you, or in terms of the radius of the corner, that you actually have to drop down below the apron, pretty much getting into turn 3, and you're hard on the brakes all the way up into the point of getting into the pits. Just doing everything you can to not overshoot entry. Here's Michael Newman making his final stop. He'll work his way back out. Tell you what, that's not a throwback, but that is another really, really good looking scheme that we've got out here tonight. Keith Prince still in the pits. Man, this is not what the 3 truck wanted. At least I don't think it was. It certainly seems a lot longer than it needs to be for the 3. Not sure. I didn't think he got a penalty here, but I mean, trying to find out how far back this is going to put him here. Yeah, I mean, he lost all sorts of positions, so I gotta wonder if there was definitely a penalty there potentially for Keith Prince. Dennis Steele, the last of the guys who have not pit yet, looks like making his stop. So he'll go down to the pits, and now it becomes short stop versus the longer stops, and a battle for the lead is getting ready to be underway here. The 53 of Bill Hales undercut it, was able to hold the lead, but those older tires not going to last for very long here. And now the 53 is going to get passed here by the 11 of Eric Hegdahl and the 5 of Isaac Smallwood. These are the 2 to keep an eye on because they are first and second, and whichever one gets in front here I think might be the best chance, or it's going to be the guy that has the best chance rather, of winning this race here tonight. Make it 39 laps to go here now at Darlington Raceway. Still got a paint scheme winner that we're going to announce, don't forget, at the end of the broadcast, but all attention focused on this battle. What is going to be the battle, again, most likely for the lead, because after this you got to go back to Braden Avila, who's a second and a half back, and I believe Avila actually pit before these two, so I don't know if I expect that gap to necessarily close up, or if it does in the short run, I think it's going to re-extend back as we get into the longer portion of the run. Bill Hales, though, with his bold strategy call, it's working right now. It's got him still in the podium spot. We'll see how long that's able to last. As Sonic Graphics Design says, the winner at Dega gets a free paint. There you go. That's a little bit of extra encouragement. Daytona as well as, oh man, big contact back up into traffic. I think that was Kevin Winker. Couldn't tell who that was. Was that Haas Beverly maybe? Oh man, that had to be a huge hit. We're trying to find who it was right now. It was Haas Beverly. Man, I have not seen a truck that destroyed. I don't even know how this thing is rolling. The entire engine. He's got one fender left on the front right of that truck. That is it. That thing looks like a full modified. No rear end as well. Holy cow, that was a brutal hit from Haas Beverly. It looked like he came back up too from it. I'm not sure if he actually did. And that's going to give you even more context here on just how hard this hit was to the inside wall. Here we go. Trying to make a move to the inside. The 8 of Lawrence gets loose. That sends Haas hard into the inside wall. He's trying to steer out of it. Comes back up on track. Oh my goodness. How was that not a caution? That collected 2 of the favorites here on the night. Looked like it was Braden Avila, and I believe 53 of Bill Hales. Oh, that is a terrible break for the leaders. Bill Hales and Braden Avila with absolutely nowhere to go. What a change of events. I did not see this one coming here. Watch this. As he comes up, Avila's going to try to duck low, nowhere to go, and destroys that 25 truck. I mean, that's going to be a fast repair for all of those guys if they've got one left, but I mean, I just cannot believe this did not draw a caution. First of all, there's the first big hit, and this thing's not done just yet. Now that he's made contact with the inside wall, you see the suspension's destroyed. He's probably not got much steering. This thing's going to come right back up on the track. He locks it down, but just too little too late. Bill Hales is going to duck to the outside in desperation, but there's nowhere to go. Lane blocks up. All the debris flying, and then now Braden Avila, same deal. Fire out of the pipes, trying to check up late, but just not going to matter at that point. I mean, that was 3 trucks clearly on the racing surface with really big damage. I'm amazed that did not bring out the caution. And so it keeps the strategy up front more or less the same, and that's the battle between Eric Hegdahl and Isaac Smallwood. Denny Hamlin throwback versus Terry Labonte throwback. And now the 11's going to, the 52 gets into the wall right there, going into turn 1, trying to get out of the way for the leaders. And lucky to not bounce off there. That could have been another close call. That's Roger Strickland, who's not having a bad run tonight, 14th. The problem is the amount of cars that we've had fall a lap down now to these 2 leaders. And I think as it stands right now, it's only your top 13, top 12 make it now. Trucks that are on the lead lap, everybody else a lap down. So if we got another caution, it'd be interesting to see if those guys all stay out or if we just end up getting a bunch of trucks trapped a lap down as we continue to wind down, slowly approach the end of this race. But with Eric Hegdahl leading and Isaac Smallwood second, and now that Avila and Hales got taken out of the equation with that big contact in that incident that we were just taking a look at, it moves Mark Beverly up to third, but he is 7.5 seconds back. So you got to think that the 13 not really going to be in the mix, at least unless they have some sort of tire strategy that I'm not seeing here. But Jay Stinson, a good run, still in the top 4, and rounding out the top 5 is Joe Yakes. See if these guys get to battling here in the next couple laps. Michael Miller back in 6th. John Shileno 7th. Clinton Woodby in 8th. Colton Hardy back in 9th. Jesse Wise in 10th. Keith Prince 11th. Evan Schilling back in 12th. Robert Dudley 13th. Roger Strickland 14th. Michael Newman in 15th. Dennis Steele in 16th. Bill Hales in 17th. Dylan Paws in 18th. Jesse Calloway 19th. And Jonathan Herbert rounding out your top 20. Will Rainwell 21st. David Traylor 22nd. And surprising to see that from Traylor. He had a great race early on. Not sure what happened here to get himself set this far back. Not sure if it was a penalty or a mistake, but the driver out of Lexley, Alabama, definitely had a lot more speed to show through qualifying what we saw throughout this race up until this point, but he's definitely going to need a caution now if he wants a chance to get any more than probably where he stands at the moment. Tyler Beverly back in 23rd. Haas Beverly 24th. Looks like Haas was able to use a fast spare, so he's got that truck back out on track and going to run for whatever he can, but you got to wonder how many laps he lost from that damage. Andrew Hansley back in 25th. Brody Benty 26th. Braden Avila 27th. Nicholas Lawrence 28th. Kevin Winker 29th. Rick LePage 30th. And Jeremy Tolley 31st. And now a lot of those drivers have retired the trucks. They've decided that's enough for the night. And so of all the spreading out that we've got on track, who would have guessed that the one main battle would be the battle for the lead, but that's what it's been. And Smallwood's been working around here a little bit. He's been trying a couple of different things, but he's not found the one that's worked just yet. Now he'll continue to try to play around with the air a little bit, find some different lanes here for the next couple laps. But at some point, he's got to think about making this move, because I'm telling you, at the end of this race, these tires are going to be really worn out, and I'm not sure if he's going to have enough grip at that point to make something work. But he's also trying to see if he can maybe get Hegdahl here to slip up without pushing the issue too much. Try to save some of those tires so he's got them for when he needs them here in the second portion of the run. And now what you're hearing, which is a little interesting, is these guys actually using brake after they have to lift and get into turn 1, which, so again, that's a little bit surprising, because you the tendency is to coast in there. 3 and 4, you're using a lot more brake, of course, through the middle of the corner. But yeah, Isaac Smallwood, we'll take a listen here as he goes back down the front straightaway and see exactly what it sounds like. But he catches a little bit of draft down the front stretch and then gets into the corner, gets through that little mini apex right at the start, and then gets on the brakes just ever so slightly before he gets up to the top, arcs it back down. Oh man, he looked like he was going to have a good run there. Had to straighten it out at the last second to make sure he didn't tag the outside wall. A nice job right there, but man, what a battle these two are going to have here if they continue to keep this up. And it's going to all come down, I'm sure, to the last couple laps, as it seems like it always does. We saw a similar battle to this at Atlanta between Joe Yakes and Isaac Smallwood. That cat and mouse game, which makes racing at Darlington so fun. But you know, you got to wonder, what does Isaac Smallwood do here? I know I've been saying that he's been trying a couple different lanes, but if none of them are working, does he consider trying to give Hegdahl a little bit of a bump and run, maybe get him just a little bit loose on entry, try to sneak to his inside, or does he see if he can get enough momentum here by arcing the corner and getting a better exit to try to catch him on entry to the next corner? I think that's what he tried right there through 3 and 4. Didn't look like it worked out too well, so he's going to have to settle back in here and catch the 11 for the next half a lap to a lap here before he tries again. And Hegdahl right now is defending for all he's worth. He knows that if he can run whatever line that 5 truck's trying to run, it's taking away his air and making it a lot harder for him to catch up. But at the same time, if he gives up this lead, that might be the last chance he's got at trying to hold it for the rest of this race. And coming up on another lapper here. It's going to tack on to the total. That's the 17, though, of Will Rainwell. He's got a good-looking scheme here tonight as well. Maverick Energy. But unfortunately, as he goes another lap down, he will just have to watch these two battle it out. Not going to be able to participate himself. But how about this? Now officially under 25 laps to go here at Darlington. Starting to really get down to crunch time now. Who is your pick? I'm thinking right now I'm going to put my money on Smallwood. He's got all the momentum in the world. And take that back. Caution is out. And all of a sudden, all those laps we ran under green don't matter anymore because we are going to have a late race restart. Oh man, looks like the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence, the primary man involved, don't notice too much damage. At least anywhere on that truck, but seems to be okay. Let's go back and see if we can pinpoint exactly what happened here. Is he going to get some help? Ooh, Haas Beverly. Remember, was just involved in that incident not too many laps ago, maybe about 10, 15 laps or so ago. And that was, ooh, yikes. I've got maybe a couple ideas about what that one may have been. You certainly got to hope that it wasn't, but let's take an onboard view here with Haas Beverly. Here we go. And, you know, I'm not going to say anything official, but if we flash back, which we're going to go ahead and do here, ladies and gentlemen, remember this incident here that ruined Haas's race. Look who's on his outside. That's the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence now. Nicholas just got a little bit loose. Wasn't anything intentional here, but that sent Haas down to the inside, and, you know, interestingly enough here, 10, 15 laps later, guess which two trucks found each other on the track, and certainly kind of looks from that view like maybe Haas was getting a little bit of payback. Sends the 8 down the track, continues on. And we'll get some confirmation before we go any further, and I mean, I really hope it's not the case, because unless I'm missing something, that first incident did not seem intentional at all by Lawrence. I mean, I understand the frustration from Haas, but just one of those scenarios where it just doesn't seem right to maybe try to turn a guy around. As Megan White in the chat, I saw the message. I'm not sure why it retracted it, but said, where can we go to vote for our favorite scheme? We do have the link. Actually, it should be pinned on the top of this video or earlier in the live chat. If you scroll up, click on that link, and it'll take you to the voting form. You can choose it there. Yeah, so really, I mean, not too much to break down from that one, but Nicholas Lawrence goes around and does not hit anything. So the 8's not going to get much damage. Actually does a really good job there of letting it roll backwards to make sure he keeps it off the wall and everybody misses him. So, you know, no harm, no foul, but that's certainly going to change up the strategy play here. As we go back to the front, Eric Hegdahl, Isaac Smallwood still being scored as your top 2. Joe Yates 3rd, Mark Beverly in 4th. And let's see if we can get an interview here with Haas to see what his thoughts were on what just happened there. Hey, Haas, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, buddy. How you doing, man?
Good. Well, I mean, I think you know what we're probably going to ask. Looked like maybe was there a little retaliation there, or was there something that I missed?
Well, look, I'm going to tell you, I wasn't happy with them, but in my drag racing there, I did get loose. I got loose trying to drag racing tight, yeah, and I did. So, yep. But it wasn't, I wasn't trying to wreck him, put it that way. I was just trying to make it very hard on him.
Well, that certainly could clear things up. Looking like a side draft that maybe did go a little bit wrong. Well, we had to ask it. I know the people at home were curious, so we appreciate you clearing that up for us, and good luck the rest of the way.
All right, buddy. Thanks, man.
There you go. Sounds pretty calm about it there, and I think he did put that a good way. And actually, you know what? I'm going to take it back. If you look back at it, I completely agree. It did look like, I mean, you saw the wheel. He didn't just turn it dead bolt right into the fence. I mean, he was holding the wheel relatively straight. I think what he was trying to do is side draft as hard as he physically could, as he said, to make the life on the 8 of Nicholas Lawrence as hard as he could. But unfortunately, some slight contact there turns him around. But, you know, drivers, fans, let you guys sort that out in the chat later. But see if we can get a word now with your current leader. Well, no, take that back. These guys are getting ready to go green, so we're going to let Eric Hegdahl stick to it. And now it's going to be a restart here with 19 laps to go. So, again, all the laps that we had under green, the green flag stopped. To a degree, really doesn't mean anything now. A lot of these guys got their lap back, but we still do have quite a few that are not on the lead lap. If we get another quick caution, though, that could start to change some things, as certain guys will start to get the lucky dog and then maybe a couple more free passes if you decide to take more tires. But everybody's got a fresh set, full fuel, and ready to go for the finish. 19 laps to decide who's going to win the throwback race, the Nirjuana 202. Green flag is back in the air. Good start from Eric Hegdahl. He's going to get out to a phenomenal jump. Now, if you're Isaac Smallwood, you got to be getting a little frustrated right off the jump here. Never mind, he's going to be able to get clear Yakes. He's not going to have to worry about it. And I was going to say, if that 87 is able to hang on the left rear of the 5 all the way down the straight, that'll give Hegdahl a little bit of a chance to start to pull away, but that's not the case. Meanwhile, further back here, how about the top? Just about everybody that's on the lead lap, as a matter of fact, already getting single file. Didn't even take a lap. Bill Hales just behind the 4. And then if you go a little bit further back, oh, we got one in the wall here. That's Michael Newman. He's able to drive it off. David Traylor back in 20th. And Jonathan Herbert in the 88. A big mix-up right now as everybody's just fighting for whatever position they can get. But the real battle is, again, the battle for the lead. Picking up right where we left off just before the caution. Isaac Smallwood going to take a peek to the inside, looking to make the move work here through 3 and 4. You'd think the bottom would be the preferred. Can Hegdahl make it stick up top? Looks like the 11 actually is able to hold him off there. He gets a little momentum down the straight. Now Smallwood's going to give him a side draft. Going into turn 1, watch for Smallwood to try to send it in here. Hegdahl sends it in a little bit deeper. What a move to hold him off. Good defense right there from Eric Hegdahl. Smallwood's going to try to set him up again. Now remember, each time that Isaac Smallwood tries to make a move, that's more rubber that he's burning off of those Goodyear tires. Same deal for Hegdahl, though. He doesn't want to have to run the top unless he's defending. And you see that right there as he jumps back down. Smallwood chose the top. Now he's going to set himself up for a little bit of a run, but notice he's really not been able to do much, if anything, in terms of trying to pass here in 1 and 2. It's just too high speed of a corner. That's really only one groove to set anything up. So Smallwood's just trying to get a better exit than Hegdahl off of 2 and set him up for 3 and 4. He was able to make it work once. Almost able to get back, though. That time comes up just a little bit short. Now Joe Yakes, he's not too far back. In fact, as it stands right now, he's about 0.8 of a second back. So I think at the moment, he's just hoping, honestly, that these two make a mistake. If these leaders catch each other in a bad spot, he could find himself with a chance to potentially win this race. And so it is now 15 laps to go. Smallwood's got another run. He's going to take it to the inside. Going into turn 3, does he try the slide job this time? Fire out of the pipes. He couldn't quite make it work. He does not try the slide job. Wasn't far enough up to make it work, and instead, he's going to drag race Eric Hegdahl off the turn and all the way down the front stretch. Hegdahl with a little momentum, but this time I think you're going to see the 5 diving in. He goes really deep into the corner, sliding up, has to bail. Oh my goodness, a close call again. Isaac Smallwood is doing everything in his power to try to get around the 11, but Hegdahl will not budge. That allowed Joe Yakes to close up a little bit, now down to under half a second. Throw the top 3 under a blanket. Mark Beverly 1.2 seconds behind the leaders. Jay Stinson back here in 4th. Clinton Woodby 5th. Clinton Woodby 6th. John Shileno 7th. Keith Prince 8th. Michael Miller in 9th. And Jesse Wides currently rounding out your top 10. Rest of the field spread out. Normally we would go through them, but we have got too much action we're trying to keep an eye on up front. So we'll keep that to the scoring tower for now. 13 laps to go. Going to be 12 when they cross the stripe this time. Still a decent amount of time for Isaac Smallwood with as close as he's running. If you're Joe Yakes, though, I think you got to start pushing those tires a little bit harder here. See if you can catch up, but he might be giving it just about all he's got at the moment. And what he does like, though, is the view he's got of these two battling, and he is hoping that one of them makes just even a slight mistake. Gives him a chance to go pounce on the opportunity to capture his 2nd win of the season. Again, if Hegdahl gets the win, it'd be his second. Smallwood, I believe this would be either his fourth or fifth. And then Joe Yates, this would be his second win as well in the 87 machine. Smallwood really closed the gap right there off of turn 4. He's got to run. He's not going to take it this time, but who's going to be faster here these last 10 laps now that the tires have really started to break in? And now maybe the handling starts to slightly go away on these trucks. Again, the tire fall off really, really significant here at Darlington. So if you're Eric Hegdahl, you want to play defense, but you got to hope you didn't use your stuff up. And if you're Isaac Smallwood, you want to play offense, but you're in the same boat. You hope you didn't use your stuff up. Smallwood back to the bottom. This time Hegdahl with a good run. He's going to be able to hold it even yet again. So they will drag race back through the front straightaway down into turn 1. We'll see the Smallwood try the same move. No, he doesn't. This time he actually runs it tight. That may have been the right move for Smallwood here, as he's going to get a little bit of wiggle room coming out of the turn. He's got to clear the 11. He can't do it. Hegdahl able to hold even again. Now Joe Yates is in the mix. He'll give a push to the 11. Oh, he's going to get connected here with Smallwood. They both save it as they bail off of each other. They're trying to get back on the track. Mark Beverly's going to have to split them 3 wide, and Isaac Smallwood and Joe Yates looking like they are out of it off of just a simple little bit of a... I'm not sure if it was a mistake or if they just got glued together. Oh, man, Yates came up to give a push, and next thing you knew, they were headed towards the inside wall here. Let's take a look. Looks like everything's fine here. Oh, man, Yates is just slightly, and I mean ever so slightly moving down. And I think at the same time, maybe Smallwood. Yeah, Smallwood's starting to just ever so slightly creep up. They're both going to meet in the middle with a little bit of neck code, actually, which is what hooked the 87 of Yates onto the front of Isaac Smallwood there. Phenomenal save by both drivers to keep it together. But again, unfortunately, look like it's going to end their chances as they are now 2 seconds and back. 2 seconds and beyond, if you will, from the leader. So Mark Beverly, the next man in position here. He's in second, but just not sure if he's going to have enough time now with 8 going to be 7 to go when we cross the line next time. And now, I'll tell you what, that's not the first time that we've seen Yates and Smallwood tangle. Last time, of course, at Atlanta on the white flag lap, but no intentional, nothing there. I mean, I'm not going to turn this into any sort of what it isn't. I mean, that was just hard racing and a little bit of net code. Unfortunate incident. Eric Hegdahl, though, loving it because now he can take a little bit of the pressure off. Doesn't want to completely take his foot off the pedal just yet, but with 7 laps to go, I think he's just got to worry about running a nice smooth line. Save your tires here just in case Smallwood's able to find enough to get back there. And I promise you that Isaac Smallwood and Joe Yates are going to be pushing for all they are worth now because they know it's the only chance to get back to the front. You see that there. Oh my goodness, look how close to the wall all these guys are getting now. Mark Beverly will see if he's able to defend the 5 or if Smallwood makes the jump. Sure enough, Isaac Smallwood to the inside. And he's got to make this pass here as quick as possible. We'll see if Mark Beverly gives it to him. Yeah, I think Mark helped him out a little bit there with that move. So Smallwood gets clear in the gap now. 1.1 second as we hit 5 laps to go. So he's going to need to make probably 2 to 3 tenths here each lap if he wants a chance to get back to the leader. And, oh man, looks like he's starting to scrape that outside wall. I'll tell you, he is right on the cushion. He's pushed in for everything he's got left, and it's that risk versus reward, right? I mean, you've got nothing to lose at this point if you're Isaac Smallwood. It's already been a successful season, even if he wasn't to win another race right now. But you know that's not how he wants to go out. He wants to see how many more of these he can win. Would love to win it tonight at Darlington. Made a mistake, and now that he knows there's nothing to lose. I mean, if he doesn't catch him, he's not going to win anyway, so he's going to go all out for it. And he's starting to close it. He got it to 8 tenths of a second here, working through 1 and 2. You got to wonder, is that Eric Hegdahl just saving a little bit, or is Hegdahl starting to struggle as Smallwood just found a new gear? I mean, 3 laps to go. We've got to make it to the white flag for this race to be official, but we're going to be hitting 3 to go this time, so that's only 2 more laps before this thing will be declared. I'm telling you now, he may be proving me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. This race may not be over just yet. The 5 of Isaac Smallwood now has it down to a half a second on Eric Hegdahl, and I believe they're coming up on some lap traffic. They are. Not sure if they'll quite catch these guys before they make it to the finish, but that is the 28 truck, it looks like, of Dennis Steele, one of the last trucks on the lead lap, so you wonder how hard he's going to fight to stay. But here we go. It's now under 3 tenths of a second. Smallwood is driving for everything he's worth. Looks like he got a little bit tight there, so it'll go back to 4 tenths down the front stretch, but watch for him to close it back up. The big thing right here for Eric Hegdahl is he cannot afford to catch Dennis Steele at a bad time. Same deal for Isaac Smallwood. If either of them catch that 28 in a bad spot, oh, Hegdahl's going to get just that. The 28 gets tight, hits the wall off the corner. That allows Smallwood to close it back up to 0.2 of a second. He's able to get around the 28 clean. This will be coming to the white flag. He'll have 1 lap left to make something happen. Eric Hegdahl now looking in his mirror. He sees that 5 truck got a lot bigger than it was just a couple laps ago. You see Isaac Smallwood sending it through 1 and 2. The back end of that truck just barely clipping the wall. Going to be one more lap truck in contention here. He'll pull out of the way. That's Andrew Hansley. Not sure if Robert Dudley will fall into the mix. Final corner, final chance for Smallwood. Hegdahl down to the bottom. He's looking to defend. He's able to do that. Now there's a little bit of checkup in the corner. But Hegdahl's going to get an exit, and it's good enough to do it. Smallwood with a run. It's not enough. Eric Hegdahl wins it at Darlington. What a run, what a comeback, what a finish, what a race. Smallwood brings home second, and what a thriller that entire last 20 laps was. And what a win for Eric Hegdahl, win number 2 of the season. First one since Daytona. And let me tell you, boy, did he have to work for that one. Smallwood was not going to give it up easily. Another win for Mo Powa. His teammate Isaac Smallwood, who finishes second, makes it a 1-2 for Mo Powa. Mark Beverly rounding out the podium. So he'll come down, do a burnout. The Denny Hamlin throwback. I mean, who knows? Maybe he gets the win in both categories here. Be a good night if he could. Again, we'll announce who's the winner of that here before we end the broadcast tonight. But as your race winner, Eric Hegdahl, comes around to celebrate and burns it down here on the front straightaway. Let's take a look what your finishing results look like here on the night. Eric Hegdahl, again, your race winner. Isaac Smallwood in second, but not by much, 1/10 of a second. The final gap as they cross the stripe. Mark Beverly third, Jay Stinson in fourth. Joe Yates finishes in fifth, John Shileno in sixth. Clinton Woodby seventh, Michael Miller eighth, Keith Prince in ninth. And Colton Hardy rounding out your top 10. Jesse Wise 11th, Bill Hales in 12th, Evan Schilling in 13th, Michael Newman 14th, Robert Dudley 15th, Dennis Steele in 16th, Dylan Paws back in 17th. It's Jesse Calloway in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 here on the night is Jonathan Herbert and David Traylor. Tyler Beverly finishes 21st, Haas Beverly in 22nd, Brody Benty 23rd, Andrew Hansley 24th, Nicholas Lawrence 25th, Will Rainwell 26th, Roger Strickland 27th, Braden Avila 28th, Kevin Winker 29th, Rick LePage 30th, Jeremy Tolley rounding out the field. He finishes in 31st. So as the celebrations continue for Mo Powa and Eric Hegdahl, along with his teammate who finish 1-2. We're going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Darlington. All right, back live at Darlington Raceway. We're going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Mark Beverly. Mark, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, what's going on, Austin?
Well, not much, but man, what a crazy sequence that we had there after that late race restart. And man, some of the racing we saw between the top 3 was phenomenal. You got to be a part of it there towards the end. You bring home a podium, but overall, how'd you feel about your night? And boy, this one was endurance, so how'd you make it through to the end?
Yeah, my game was just trying to be consistent and just do my own race. You know what I mean? People were wrecking her all around me, kind of hitting each other, hitting the wall. I was just trying to keep it straight and end up pulling out a P3 somehow. So I'll take it.
And well, P3, another good finish. And I'll tell you what, we saw a lot of clean racing here tonight, all things considered for Darlington. And I want to ask you, just from a league owner perspective, how do you get a group of guys that come into a track like Darlington and keep things that clean at one of the toughest tracks in the whole season?
Well, it just starts out with having some great guys that are in the league with us, and they all respect each other and try to give room. I mean, mistakes happen and whatnot, but for the most part, we're just trying to all have some fun and have some good green flag racing. So I think we all have the same mindset, and ends up working in our favor here. So Darlington's tough, so props to everybody in the race tonight.
And it was certainly fun to watch. Well, we appreciate you giving us a little bit of feedback on that, but before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to you for putting on a good show for us. Everybody watching, everybody voted in the throwback paints. Keith Prince ended up winning. Number 3, shout out to our sponsors that help us out: Winning Bid, Diecast, Sonic Graphic Design, and Nirjuana. So appreciate it.
There you go. Well, we now know who won the paint scheme contest. Thanks for talking to us tonight, Mark. Congrats on the 3rd place finish, and we'll see you out here next week.
Yep, thank you.
All right, and now that's going to bring us to your 2nd place finisher on the night. Mo Power got 1, 2, and it's the 2nd of them. Isaac Smallwood. Isaac, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
What's going on?
Well, I mean, you put me through probably about a roller coaster of emotions there the last 20 laps. You're racing the leader, your teammate Eric Hegdahl. You guys look like you're not teammates with how hard you're racing each other. Then you and Joe Yakes get together. You fall back over a second. I thought it was over. I mean, we come to 10 laps to go. Next thing you know, you're starting to close it in, 0.2 of a second per lap. You get back there, and that was one of the craziest sequence of last laps I have seen since I've been broadcasting. How did you pull that off, and how did you almost steal the win from your teammate there at the end?
You had mixed emotions. I had mixed emotions. It was just a roller coaster of events, man. I was going to run him hard, you know. If I can steal the win, I can steal it. But he definitely had a better long-run car than I did. But I can't complain. And I tell you what, me and Joe, I don't know how me and him kept her straight and kept her going. But Lord have mercy, I was a little nervous there. I thought my race was over. And I knew once I got back around Mark and Joe, I had to hit qualifying laps every lap to try to get back to him, and I needed 1 or 2 more laps, and I probably could have got him.
Well, still a good finish nonetheless. Before we let you head out tonight to go celebrate your 2nd place finish, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the teammates, man. Braden and Eric. You know, Eric, he pulled through, got the big win, brought it home to the team, and, you know, everybody that puts the show on, you, Mark, you know, all the guys, and we're just excited to be here.
Glad that you talked to us tonight. Well, again, we appreciate you talking to us. Congrats on the 2nd place finish, and we will see you out here next week as well.
Yep, thank you.
All right, now that will bring us to your race winner on the night. Win number 2 for Eric Hegdahl. Eric, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, buddy, I got it.
Well, man, we just heard the other side of the story. What a race that was towards the end. I got to think you were sitting there sweating. I mean, that was stressful trying to call it up here in the booth. How did you manage to hold off the charge from Isaac Smallwood not once but twice, especially there at the end of the race?
Yeah, I have no idea. When that last caution came out with about 30 to go, I was a little worried because before that I had like a 1 or 2 lap tire advantage on them, and I figured I'd be able to drive away, but that last yellow, it was not what I wanted to see, but at the same time it was, because I was kind of low on fuel. But yeah, those last 30 laps, I was trying to save my tires, but at the same time I knew I've been racing with Isaac since days on the PlayStation, so I know how he is, I know how fast he is, so I knew I was gonna have to be on the game. And he made some moves down in 1 and 2. There was one time coming off turn 2, I thought we were both gonna wreck, and we kept it together. But definitely a fun battle. Love racing here. Kind of a home track for me, so definitely cool to get another win here. So.
Well, next week we head back to our 2nd super speedway of the season, Talladega Super Speedway. You got the win at Daytona. How you feel about your chances to go 2 for 2 at super speedways next week?
Yeah, there's no reason why we can't do it again. But at the same time, I got 30 other guys who are probably better than me at play racing. So it's kind of just coming down to putting yourself in the right position, and I don't always do that on Daytona Talladega. So looking forward to it though, and we'll see what happens.
All right. Well, before we let you head out tonight, is there anyone else you'd like to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to the Beverleys for putting on a great league. Winning Bid, Diecast Auctions, Sonic Graphic Design. For you, putting on a great broadcast every week. My teammates, Braden and Isaac, and for always helping me every week. And yeah, it was a fun race, and see what happens next week in Dega.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for talking to us, and sure enough, we'll see if you can go back next week.
All right, buddies. Thank you.
All right, that is going to wrap up our coverage here tonight for the Nirjuana 202. Congratulations, first off, to your race winner, Eric Hegdahl, and then to the paint scheme winner, Keith Prince, who had, I believe, again, it was a Dale Earnhardt throwback, the orange and white number 3 truck. That was a beautiful looking scheme. No surprises there. But, man, what a race. What a finish. Darlington did not disappoint. And if you want more excitement than that, then you better be back next week because we head to Talladega Super Speedway. And you better believe we are going to have 3 wide bumper-to-bumper action at almost 200 miles an hour. But until then, I want to say thank you all so much for coming out. I hope you enjoyed.